Hello everyone, my name is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney 2. Alright, last episode we started off The Great Ace Attorney 2. I know it says The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, but I have to try to remember to say The Great Ace Attorney 2. So let's continue on. Yes, we are The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney, Episode 1. So, let's continue on. Alright. So. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Alright, so, I did my homework. I did it at the end of last episode. But that was a while ago. Let me try to remember. I did my homework, but okay, it was Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. I think that was the voice I gave him. Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. Sir, why do you have a turtle on your head? This poor turtle. Is it blushing? I think I see a little pink on its cheeks. It's kind of cute. How are you in disguise? How? You look the same. Other than the frickin' turtle. Why? He always seems like he should be like super serious. Are you super serial? Where is that joke from? Where is it from? Now I'm gonna bother. It's gonna bother me because I can't remember where that joke is from. Dang it. But like he's actually like he's not that serious. Like he's kind of a doofus. Oh, Hosonaga, why are you like this? He is the gumshoe of our games, clearly. Oh. And then Natsume. He's kind of the Larry of the games, isn't he? I kind of gave him the Larry voice, too. And I am. Well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact, yes. Oh, what the frick? Who's this? Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Soseki Natsume. So, funny thing, in the past few months, I have been watching with my girlfriend Coco, who will never watch this probably. Well, who knows? She might in the future. She and I have been watching in an anime called Bungo Stray Dogs. I finally got her into it, and it's one of my favorite anime. It's very popular, by the way, and it's a great anime, very popular, and it's based off of historical authors. It's one of these anime that it takes authors who, a lot of them, originally they're authors who are Japanese authors, and of course a lot of them I didn't know the names of them. And one of them, believe it or not, is Soseki Natsume. And he is a character who's actually pretty OP. He doesn't appear until like later seasons. But when I first saw him, I was like, holy crap, I know that name. I was like, oh my god, he's a character in The Great Ace Attorney. Oh my god. And I was like freaking out. And I was like, I couldn't spoil it to her because she hadn't played the Great Ace Attorney game. But I was like, must not spoil. But like something happened in the anime that I couldn't spoil. And then also I couldn't spoil it, but I was just like, by the way, Coco, he's a character in the game, The Great Ace Attorney as well, and oh my god. So it was like a double, like, I couldn't spoil it, and I was like really frustrated. But yeah, so it was a big deal for me on 2 levels, so I was really excited. So he was much cooler in the anime than he is here. But yeah, he kind of looks the same. He has the mustache. I mean, he looks different, but similar. Similar color scheme. He had the white and the brown. Oh my goodness. struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be in awe of me. I needn't? Actually, Editor Binks is going to remove the spoiler that I said. So, if there's a gap that doesn't make any sense, it's because I removed the spoiler for you guys. So don't worry about it. But let's just say that I said a spoiler, and yeah. Binks was rambling about the anime and said a spoiler, and then retroactively was like, wait, I just spoiled something, never mind. When it comes to anime, Binks's brain goes bleh. It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki even. Yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Yes, of course. I know. I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? It's not your face, it's your head. That poor turtle. What the frick, dude? Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Oh, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Hosonaga, please.
Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Ah, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
Yeah, he's kind of being boastful, so letting him talk as if he's all that. At Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with the researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact.
With my father... with Professor Mikotoba?
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone.
What the
They secretly spy, snap shots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy.
What the frick is going on with this dude in the background? The first paparazzi? Is that what's going on here, you guys? Like, what the hell?
As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Newspapers!
I'm just remembering from the movie The Pink Panther. That movie is so stupid, but I love it. With Martin Short? No, Steve Martin. Why did I say the wrong one? It's one of my favorite movies, you guys. It's so stupid, but I love it. It's the physical comedy of it. Like, I would host a viewing party in my Discord if I ever could. It's just the physical comedy of it. It just really makes me laugh. I feel like there's not enough good comedy movies anymore these days of physical comedy, because I feel like that's something that's like a dying tradition. It's like old movies that do that, where it just makes you laugh, where you see people doing dumb things physically that don't rely on telling jokes, that they show the jokes, you know, with their bodies. And it doesn't have to be like them getting injured all the time. It could be them like in the movie The Pink Panther, it was dumb things like him thinking that there was a bug in the room, and so he was like destroying the room looking for it. And it was just so funny seeing him destroying the room because he was like cutting things with pliers and scissors and literally like just destroying the room while looking for it. It was just funny. I wish I could describe it better, but I'm a sucker for physical comedy, so that's why right now just seeing the paparazzi taking pictures of him like that that made me laugh. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. You practically threw that paper at me. The Soseki Natsume article had been entered into the court record. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, his eyes always look so weird. Following my interview with the professor, let's look at the court record really quick. Did I read that already? Giselle, I think I did. Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung, yeah. Fatal hemorrhage, death would have occurred within minutes. Yeah, pupil constriction. I think I did say that before. This was the picture. Stab wound in the back. See that stupid hat. Spilled wine glass, so was there poison involved? They mentioned the stab wound though. I see the pen in her hand. See her little mask. See the trunk. See there's like a gap in the ground. It's like a... Is it like a tarp? Is it a curtain? Or is, like, I don't know the material of the building. Is it wood or is it like a... like I don't remember. I don't know if it's a shack, like a wooden shack, or is it like an actual, like a curtain or something. Okay. Let's see. Ugh, what the hell's with that pose? There's his cat. And we did see his cat before. We took it, right? Wagahai? And his cat actually looks a lot like the... Ah, never mind. It's too spoilery. What's with the man on the bicycle down there? Is there a reason we need the magnifying glass? Look at that. Is there something we need to look at, you think? Look at the crack? Maybe later. I mean, we don't know it yet, right? Maybe? What is he holding? Can't really tell, it's too blurry. Okay, well. There must be a reason. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words.
As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory. Under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her.
The detective I'm at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
Thereby the entire party departed, cordially for the seaside, it seems.
It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so...
With you always coughing and bleeding? I don't know.
Yeah, that's not exactly peak physical fitness, bro. I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly, he says as he bleeds internally. Oh dear.
Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now.
How unsightly. I do apologize.
Does that mean that you went to the beach too, Father?
No, fortunately I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place.
Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Ah, but if only I had, I'd never had seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Always with your weird posing. What's with this dude? This paparazzi. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. Okay, I just gotta say, Mr. Paparazzi dude, is he just gonna stand there taking pictures, or is he gonna talk, or what? Excuse me. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. Didn't you come back to Japan to escape a curse? I think you came back here only to witness a murder? Like, bro. There's no escape for you. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab. What crab? When I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Wait, what? Multiple? That doesn't prove that, sir? What? Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime. What?
Now, if you'll recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body.
It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What?
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Oh! The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel.
What?
R.M. Remember me. Remember me. The initials of the defendant.
Oh, come on. Ah! No! No. No.
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence.
No.
So, have I admitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor Ouchie of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now.
Come on.
Naruhodo-san.
Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes, me.
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright. I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witness' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. Come on, girl. Snap out of it. Let's go. Let's do some pressing, even though I'm already like, what the frick was he saying about the multiple time thing? Alright. Let's talk about your disguise, sir.
Hold it!
Hold it! In that jaunty disguise?
What you talking about? What you messing with me? What do you mean, jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn the swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the English women under surveillance. Those were my orders that day.
And this tried and tested outfit was the answer?
Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job.
Really? Sir? Please.
I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water.
He doesn't look very happy, you know. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there?
If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong.
Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. Just let it go and move on. Oh, wrong game. Sorry. Alright. What about a crab? What's going on here? You're describing the victim's scream, perhaps? Presumably? Sasaki-san? In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Kya! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things so. Sasaki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around at the noise and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Okay, yeah, it looks wooden? Like thatched? Maybe? Maybe straw? I don't know. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise. I ran into the beach hut at once where I found the pair in question.
Hold it!
Wait, by pair, you don't mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. But obviously I mean the victim and the defendant, Rei Membami-san. Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me. Pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish, very foolish.
It really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
Well, it was a sorry sight, a really grisly scene. I parted the Norrin curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside, only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. Oh my. The glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes.
How thoroughly appalling.
He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Sasaki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder? Oh, you'd like a literary man's opinion. Okay.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly. You actually saw her do it.
Oh, indeed.
The terrible spectre, the Terrapin Inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment. Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
Oh, no, no. What are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you.
I wonder if I might interject here, Sasaki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression, were your words just now, I believe.
Oh? What's that? Ah, so do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you've described? Somebody's lying? What you lying for? What's going on? No. I mean, yes. I mean, I know what I saw. My eyes, no. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream. Hence, my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial.
It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn.
I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become.
Oh dear, how awkward. Well, actually, I have to end this episode right here. Sorry for the awkward stop, but it is what it is. Actually, guys, forget what I just said. I have decided I want to make these episodes about an hour long. So I got interrupted, as you could probably tell. And that's why I was like, ah, shit, I'm just gonna have to end the episode. But no. What I'm gonna do, until I'm able to finally be living alone and not be interrupted so often, is in cases like that where I get interrupted, I'm probably gonna make it sound like I'm ending the episode or whatever, but I'm just gonna have an awkward editing cut and then I'll just continue on. Or I'll say something like, hold on, BRB or something, and you'll see a cut. So yeah, we'll continue on right now. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. This is what has been sus to me since earlier, so finally, let's get to this.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times. How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. But that doesn't mean it was multiple times? What? The blood. When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. So you saw her then plunge it in again? So that's why you're saying multiple times? Yes, that's right. I saw it too. And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too. Wait, what? The victim was already holding the defendant's fountain... Oh, okay. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right. I saw it too. Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese.
The logic of your argument is sound, at least.
It sounds weird to me, though. So we gotta poke holes in there somehow. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. Ho! We're gonna rub that raw nerve, because we know that he failed to protect Asogi. That's just my personal opinion, of course. No personal history there. Yeah, you should feel bad. Look how the turtle's head bobbles. Yes, hide in shame. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. I mean, I don't care that he failed to protect Giselle Brett. But, You did fail to protect my Asogi.
Oh no, I just have so many thoughts whirling around in my head. It's all I can do to stand here wide-eyed and mute.
Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down.
But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie.
What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons. A misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even.
Ah, a delusion.
Yeah, clearly, Natsume was, a little delusional earlier.
What's important is that we determine the truth, and there's only one sure way to do that.
Yes, with evidence, of course.
Spoken like a true judicial assistant.
You mean a lawyer, which is what we are right now.
During witness testimony, you can use E to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for.
Yes, it's all about inconsistencies.
Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with R, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure.
Yes. All right, then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. I hope I'm up to the task.
Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl.
You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start.
And I need to look at the court record again. Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Just need to look at everything again. Timida... What was it? Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung, fatal hemorrhage, within minutes. Pupil constriction. Within minutes. So not immediately? Because he said something about... Okay. We saw this before. She's holding the pen. Oh wait, only a single wound. But they keep saying multiple, right? RM... I don't think the article is pertinent yet. Yeah. Then there has to be. So yeah, it was this, the whole multiple thing. My initial thing of him saying multiple. Yeah, I don't know why I was... I think being interrupted made me forget that. Like, what the frick, dude? Sir, you're totally wrong about that. It says a single wound. There you go.
Objection!
Oh, did it feel good? Did it feel good, Susato?
With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench,
The stakes have been very, very high indeed. Ooh, is this the new objection theme? I like it.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel?
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
Who, what, where, when, how?
Not you, Soseki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
At me?
In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon.
Yeah, no plep here. I don't know if you guys remember, but in my original, in the first game, I was like, every time Naruhodo was like, pleh, when he didn't slam like he should have. He learned later on to slam his hands, but she, right away, BAM! You go, girl. And yet, that cannot be.
What? Get to the point, please, Counsel.
Well, she's pulling her original move, always open in her little book. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Oh!
Can y'all not read? In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed.
Ugh!
And Soseki-san,
Me?
you claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes, I did. Wildly.
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point, that there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and?
It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
Yeah, true. Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Wow, sassy mother effer! Can you calm down, sir? Yes, Your Excellency. I was just putting 1 + 1 together. I thought you could do it yourself, but clearly you can't. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't be! Excellent work, Susato. You exploded at them with that objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. What idiots they are.
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Oh, bird! Get him!
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed.
In any case, damn, he just wiped all his sweat and like nothing.
In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she has withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ugh. You pretty much confirmed it was her who had her hand on the knife and that she was legit there.
I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all,
Yeah, I knew they were going to say that.
that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
But if she was withdrawing the blade...
Then we are back where we started.
Sorry.
Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent, as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good.
Maybe she pulled the blade out to try to save her. Like she wanted to try to stop the bleeding or something, you know? Because she's like an assistant to a professor, so maybe she went into like medical mode and was like, oh, I can stop the bleeding. Let me take the blade out and try to apply pressure to the wound or whatever, you know? Maybe she was smart enough to do that. But at the same time, dumb enough to do that because she clearly, instead of calling for help, she put her hands on the weapon and, you know, whatever. I mean, the first thing you should do is call for help and not put your hands on the weapon and not say anything. Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Ah, yes, going for the jugular.
What does father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could save her life, right? Yeah, that's literally what I was just saying. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical... See? Medical. I thought so. So Ray should have a little knowledge. Being a medical research assistant, Membami-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. So what, you're not even considering that? Oh, damn. Something just moved. That's creepy. I don't know if you guys heard that. It's pretty loud. Picture frame just fell over. A ghost.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? As if a woman would know how to do that.
Is that what they're gonna say? Freaking sexist jerks.
It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Ugh. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify in respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Counsel, I mean.
Wow. Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector.
All these men. Ugh.
Our young yokel, hopeful as has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Oh, and you do? Are any of you freaking doctors? I don't think so.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion.
Oh, y'all about to make me mad, aren't you?
Real mad.
Oh, Lord. When it comes to anything medical, I get real passionate. Especially, but I have to remember this is in the olden days, so their lack of knowledge has to be a little understandable. Oh, Banks, you're going to get very, very mad, aren't you? Oh, I think so. Calm down. Don't get too worked up. It's just a game. And this is olden days. They know not how ignorant they were.
Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly.
All right. All right. We're going to present some, we're going to present on them. Forensic medicine primer. Sure. I mean, yes, this is true. We know that pulling the blade will make her bleed, but then you have to apply pressure on the wound to hopefully stop the bleeding. And if there's internal damage, you know, surgery's needed to, you know, stop wherever the damage was caused. Like if an artery or an organ was damaged.
Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
There must have been a reason. She would know. There had to have been a reason, dude. I'm actually trying to think right now. Because he is right. Like, honestly, the best thing to do would have been to keep the blade in. Unless she had, like, some... Because I was looking at that trunk there. Because remember, I was like... Before I said it was a trunk, I was like, oh, is it a sewing kit? And then I was like, oh, no, it has to be a trunk. For some reason, I don't know why I said sewing kit. Like, maybe she had other supplies in there? Like, something she... Like, a needle and thread for some reason. Like, she could have performed a quick little minor surgery to save her. Like, to stop the bleeding. I don't know. Like, why would she... You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't bring... I say this, and I don't want to spoil anything, but, Coco and I have been playing Steins Gate. And, it's on her channel right now. And something happened recently that I got ridiculously annoyed by, and it was funny because the characters themselves actually addressed it, and it was really funny that a character happened to have a sewing, like a needle and thread sewing kit or whatever on them, and in the moment I was like, wait, what the frick, why do they have that on them? That makes no sense. And then they actually addressed it in the moment that the other character's like, wait, why would you have that on you? It was just so funny. And here I'm just thinking the same thing again, like, wait, what? Why would they have that when they went to the beach? That doesn't make sense, but you never know. You never know. Might be a sewing enthusiast. Oh, I don't know. I think it was it my grandma? Someone did say, like, not only could you have it with you as a hobby, like if you go around and you're bored and you have free time and you just want to sew when you're walking around or have free time, but also you never know, you might like pop a button or something might get torn, or like back in the olden times, like women literally would walk around with a little needle and thread or something. So you never know. I'm going on a spiel that might have nothing to do with anything.
Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, aka Watson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
That's okay. But is there another reason that she would have pulled the knife out? Like, I don't know. Like, she saw that there was something. Was there something? We don't even have the knife, right? That kind of bothers me that we don't have the murder weapon in here. Why do we not have the murder weapon in our evidence? I don't even see it. Where's the murder weapon, you guys? That's really sus to me. Normally, that's one of the first things they would present, right? Where's the murder weapon? What was she stabbed with? How big is the blade? Is there something else going on with the knife itself? Is that why she had to pull it out? Sus. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Oh, she didn't know that? Oh, I guess she didn't know.
Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see.
Ha! This is why yokels should stay on the farm.
Oh, that's why they were all laughing. But I still think she brought up a good point. Like, let's say that Ray didn't think of that or didn't know that, even though she is a medical assistant. Or maybe in the panic of the moment, she was still trying to save the woman's life, okay? But still, she should have known that. But I still say that there might be something going on with the knife. And the fact that it hasn't been presented is weird.
Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
What, y'all wander around stabbing other people? What the frick? Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see. Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. Yeah, let's talk about the knife, please. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... could my friend actually have...
Susato,
Yes.
pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Never doubt your client, bro. Never. Or sis.
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. All right. I think we are almost at the hour mark then, because I think the last episode was like almost 30 minutes or so. So I think we'll leave this episode right here then. Now, for real, legit. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.